I think it's important to get out the message that the people who are out there working, they are ordinary people. They are not extraordinary. They are not some hard, tough guy or hard, tough woman from a small little island. That's why she does it, because she grew up with it. No. Like anyone can do it. Like we are really, really normal.
Welcome to the Shipping Podcast, where I meet interesting maritime professionals sharing their passion for the shipping industry and their everyday job. I am your host. My name is Lena Gothberg. Hello, Shipping Podcast lovers, and welcome to episode 211, where you will be listening to the second part of my conversation with the three students at Chalmers Maritime University, Gianna, Alva and Max. In the first episode, number 210, which was released 2 weeks ago, we covered how they decided to become mariners and what they think about maritime education. Now we're moving on to their practical experience of sailing. I hope you will enjoy our conversation.
Every conversation matters.
I think that there are so many new job opportunities, which is not for sailing stuff. I mean, not for crew. I mean, people with all this AI coming into place, what you were talking about, simulator and all of that. So we might have new friends coming into our industry in that way, I think, because maybe we shouldn't have an AI education in the maritime unit, but we will have to work together, I think. Otherwise, we will be lost because they will not know how to program a computer unless they talk to you, who has been sailing and knowing all about it. So, and as you said, I think it's a slow development. It won't happen tomorrow. But maybe we need to broaden our horizon as well to see how those guys who left after the first year, maybe they will start studying mathematics at the university and programming instead. So there is always things happening. So you have been sailing. I know you were sailing last summer.
Yeah, that's correct.
With different nationalities on board, or?
Well, we had guests who were from different countries.
I see.
But before that, I've been sailing with all kinds of different nationalities.
So how is that?
It's different, of course, because in one way, you're less comfortable because you have to speak in another language than your mother tongue. So, I mean, it's different. It's always different when you speak in a different language. And, I mean, all the cultural stuff will be different. It's like eating lunch or making lunch for the crew. But I really like it because I've never felt like the nationality has been a problem. In that case, it's been the personality. So, yeah, I really like it because if you're only with Swedes, you get very comfortable because everything is like at home. And that's not why at least for me, that's not why I'm at sea, to have things the same way as when I'm here in Gothenburg.
Mm.
Yeah, Jana, you have quite some nationalities on your ship as well, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like, what do you call it? Like the break room thing. You step into a new room with a new group of people. And at first, it's a lot about you stuck in your own head, thinking about, oh, how am I presenting myself? And when you let down that guard, then you start to take in the people around you and observing, how are they like and what do they like? Or what does it mean when Carl asked me how I am this morning? Does he want me to explain or does he just ask? So you get, it takes some time to get all of the little mimics, but in the end, it's kind of fun to see how different we can be from each other, like culture-wise, because we are on board my ship. We have one big group of Filipinos and us Swedes and then we have one big group from Portuguese, and and we are a lot of different eating habits, that we like different kind of foods, and also how we walk, talk, and act. I have noticed, like us Swedes, that we are very concerned about each other, and that's very uncomfortable and new to other nationalities. So, for example, asking, how are you, can be seen as, it's weird if I start talking about how I actually am. Can you just, it was just a hello, Jenna, take it easy, go talk to someone else. So it's, those times have been kind of funny. But it's also like, it also have given a lot of love, that they have gotten into that pattern. So we actually now have a more like, now when I ask someone, oh, how are they can feel comfortable about speaking up how they are in the work situation. So it has its pros and cons. And also, like, I think it's funny, one of the cleaners, he's Spanish, and he has a little music radio strapped to his belt. So he walks around playing loud music. And every time he walked past the engine crew, they all start to stutter, because they feel like it's very annoying that this man takes the freedom to play his music out loud for everyone to hear. So that's always nice to see that little culture crash.
So I'm lucky now to have 2 female students here. How many women are on board your ship?
We had a good, like 1 month I was on board. We were 50-50 in the deck department. And it was the first time for me, and quite amazing. And also, like, all drivers reacted on that too, that, wow, there are so many of you here. Like, is it cleaning on deck today?
Oh my God.
What is going on? But after some weeks, they got a hang of it. There's a lot of women working on this ship, and it's
so
cool.
You don't feel lonely as a woman on board a ship?
No, this particular ship, I haven't felt lonely. But there have been ships I've been feeling lonely. And the working, there's definitely a shift in the working environment, like the locker room talks, like those kind of stops when it's more 50-50. So it's definitely nicer to have fellow women around you.
What do you think, Max? Have you been sailing with some female?
I have at a few occasions, and I agree. It does the working environment a lot. Yeah, I think it does it a lot of good. Those times I've just sort of perceived it to be a bit more mellow. I think there's less of a risk of people sort of snapping back at each other, or being sort of unnecessarily aggressive, and just small things like telling people to be safe or take care, or things like that. I mean, it's such a stereotypical thing, but these small comments still sort of mellow down the atmosphere. And in my experience, the women have said these things a lot more often than a male chief officer would do to his deck team before going out to perform a certain duty. And it's just maybe you don't notice it at the time, but in hindsight, I'll go back and think like, oh, that was actually pretty nice. It was a lot more mellow and nicer atmosphere. Maybe felt a bit more at ease.
Which is important.
Which is very important because it's an environment you're going to spend a lot of time in, and you're very isolated with the same people for extended amounts of time. So feeling a bit more at ease is, of course, really important for your general comfort.
That thing with taking care of each other, I see a lot in my workplace, because we have 2 work teams. In one of the work teams that switch with each other, we are currently 2 women on, and the other is no. And we have seen that a lot accidents happens more frequently in the group where only men is working together than in our group. And I think when we have looked into it, it has come down to not being careful with the safety equipment, not having full gear on because they don't check with each other. And it's also this, I don't need it, I can handle it attitude. And also not looking out for each other backs. Often my male colleagues tend to believe that they can do everything by themselves instead of asking for help.
That might also be a generational thing. I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. But I see, I don't know, I often see young guys also wanting to do, but that's also if you're young and new to the workplace, maybe you're afraid to ask for help. It can also be like that. But yeah, the generation thing, it's good too. And then most accident also happens when people take on too much workload and don't understand the risk of being alone performing something dangerous.
Alva, what do you say? You have been the only female on board. How was that?
Well, up until this summer, I've always been the only female on board, and I've always felt very comfortable with that, and I've never thought anything about it. But this summer we were actually a majority females on board. But I don't know, I guess this ship that I was on this summer, let's just say that all the men on board are very, very kind, and I guess maybe not as stereotypically male or masculine, maybe. I guess it would have worked or felt the same even if I were the only female on board then. But I mean, I do like it when it's 50-50, but I haven't experienced really the locker room talk. I mean, I have had captains who have said to me that I should go home and start a family, but at the same time, the rest of the ship was really nice. So, yeah, it's...
mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag, yeah. But I've never felt uncomfortable being the only female.
No, I hear those stories as well, so I'm happy that you haven't felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you see that we should change to make you feel more welcome into our industry? How can we contribute to your career?
I think it's important to get out the message that the people who are out there working, they are ordinary people. They are not extraordinary. They are not some hard, tough guy or hard, tough woman from a small little island. That's why she does it, because she grew up with it. No. Anyone can do it. We are really, really normal. Often I hear the comment, "Oh, you're so cool for working out at sea. How do you do it? It's with the waves and everything." But it's not that scary. It's just a moving workplace, but it's not a scary workplace, or it's not particular extraordinary. It's mundane people exist too. Really anyone can do it. I think that's a good message to get out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, you can do it. There's nothing stopping you. I mean, you might get seasick, but I mean, there's medicine, and yeah, it's no problem. I mean, Even if it's, I mean, yeah, it is a bit strange because everything is moving and you're far away from your family, and yeah, it's different. But if you want to try it, just do it.
Yeah, I think getting the message out and getting the general knowledge about the industry to a higher level is for sure the biggest hurdle. Because, like Jenna said, we're not extraordinary people. We're not performing open heart surgery or solving the Israel-Palestina crisis or anything. We're pretty ordinary people doing, for us, quite ordinary things. It's just in a different environment. So I think getting a sort of better perception of the environment out there and explaining to people that, I mean, it's pretty everyday. It's you'll just be away for a while, but yeah, I think people sort of have to get a hang of what it's all about, actually, because I think nobody really does.
Yeah, and it's so broad also. Like, that's being away and living on board. It doesn't have to be a problem. There are ships where you don't have to be away and you don't have to sleep on board, but you can still work on a ship.
And it can be really nice to be away as well.
Yeah, if you don't like your family.
No, but I mean, being away doesn't have to be something negative.
No, of course not.
I mean, you learn a lot, you do a lot, and you're appreciated for the things you do, hopefully. So it gives a lot as well. Even if it takes away a lot of time, it does give you things.
Time to do other things that you like.
Yeah, but let's be real. Being at sea is not for everyone.
Of course not.
No.
So what's the specifics? What do you need to be a sailor, to be a mariner?
I think maybe the social aspects are the most important. Being able to adapt to different people and their different needs, and just being able to communicate with anybody, because we are from vastly, at least in sort of international scenarios, we're from vastly different cultures, economic backgrounds, social backgrounds. So to still be able to communicate and perform a task and hopefully have a pretty nice time while doing it, then you'll get along swimmingly. Because I think other than that, most people could do this job. It's more about just being able to communicate effectively and try to have a nice time while doing it.
Yeah, don't be lazy. It's a really bad thing to be. If you're lazy, then it's not for you. I think that's if the hardest thing. If you're lazy, you're gonna have a hard time being on board, because it's a workplace with structure and like everyone is affected by you and your work performance. So you really have to have a work ethic.
And also, I guess you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable in a lot of different ways, physically, maybe mentally sometimes. Maybe to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, it helps.
Did you have a role model growing up?
Can it be fictional? What's the name in English? Ronja Robertsdotter? The Astrid Lindgren saga?
I don't know the name of that in English, but I can find out.
Yeah, because she was really strong and she always did what she wanted and she stood up for herself. You know, even if it was her father, she was like, no, I know my own rights, or I'll go into the forest and live by myself. She had really nice hair as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was cool.
Jana, did you have a role model?
My dad is my role model in quite a way. He's quite a character. He knew from an early age what he wanted to do, and he went on and did that. He wanted to be a pilot, and he did that. And then he did not do that because he felt like his time as a pilot was, now I've done it, now I want to do something else. And I think I learned a lot from him, that getting where you want to be is not easy. You have to train a lot, work a lot, and you can get a no on the first time, but if you really want it, then just keep on training. And also it taught me that you can also let things go. If you feel like you're done with them, even if it was just for a short period, it's okay. Like it's your life. You decide what you want to do with it and how you want to live it. So yeah, it's been a great role model for that.
All this time I've been trying to think of one, but I haven't. So I'm not too sure, actually. No role model, no ethics, no morals.
Still to come then.
Yeah, maybe I meet that special person who inspires me to do greatness. We'll see.
No, but I mean, it's important. And you are going to be role models for people following you, I think, after a while. It's important to see that there are female officers and OS and all of that. Because if you haven't seen anyone, you don't know if you can do it. So I think it's important to... Sorry to coming back to the female question, but I think that is important, and I feel that it's my responsibility to make sure that the coming generations can see that anyone can do this, as you all agreed on just a moment ago. So what does your friend think about that you are working in the maritime industry? Do they understand what you're doing, or?
No, I don't think either. I mean, not my family or my friends outside this world. They don't really understand. They try to, but then they misinterpret things and they get the nuances wrong. But I mean, they're still interested and they try to understand. So you just have to be very, very patient and try to explain.
Yeah, you have to do a lot of explaining.
A lot of explaining. But as long as they're willing to hear and as long as they're interested, I mean, just explain away.
The time moves very differently for us. I think that's the biggest difference between me and my friends, because they always like, oh, wow, you're gonna be away now for 1 month and you're just gonna work all the time. I was like, no, I do get some free time on board. I do not work all the time, but one month on board is not the same as being 1 month at home. You get into this mush, I don't know how to call it, but it's just like this hamster wheel. Time moves quickly, and really, if you like what you're doing. And then they do understand the part of being home for 1 month. They praise that, but they don't understand being on board 1 month.
What does your friend say?
Yeah, well, it's like Alva said, there's a lot of explaining to be done, because I barely have any friends who know anything about the industry. And in those cases, you really have to explain everything. Life on board, how shipping works, what sort of different things we do. So... yeah, there's a lot of explaining, but I love talking about shipping, so I'm happy to tell anybody who will lend me an ear. It's not really a problem, but I've thought of myself in the future. I think it's pretty important for us to sort of have each other, so we can discuss these sort of very internal things that nobody really can relate to. So I'm really glad I have some good friends who are in the industry now, and who I hope I'll be staying in contact with, because otherwise I think we're gonna feel pretty alone when people are talking about their sort of 9-to-5s in whatever industry they might be in. And we're just sitting there, maybe waiting to be called to sign on in some port somewhere. And yeah, it's a whole different world.
Okay, is there anything else you want to bring up in this discussion that we haven't spoken about?
Well, I think it's important with the representation of today's seafarers. That it's very important that we bring out a correct picture of that and not a fabricated one. We need to stop with that. And very important for us females also in the industry that we actually, if we are gonna go out there and represent ourselves, we wanna do that with fixed hair and makeup and heels. That's not what representing a female seafarer is. That's a fabricated picture of the fabricated ideal woman is, and then we put a anchor stamp on her and call her a seafarer. That's not a seafarer. Like, I never wear heels on my workplace, so for those women today out there working for representation of our seafarers like me, I would like them to do that in a way that is correct and actually equal to my male colleagues.
Yeah.
I love we have a museum here in Gothenburg. It's called Sjöfartsmuseet. And they had a really good section there with the picture of the people working on the shipyard. And it was just all the faces of all the people, gender, like no matter what, they looked the same. They were represented the same. And I would like to see that in the future for us as well, because I've seen some representation I wish I hadn't seen.
But it's the same. I mean, there are no seafarers who looks like Popeye either, or Captain Haddock.
No.
But if you image Google seafarer, you get to see all kinds of things, which isn't like what it really is, I think.
Yeah. I think because the industry is so secluded, if you ask our friends who don't know anything, they will still think of some sort of stereotype that's been handed down from the 50s, which is sort of a 40-year-old male semi-alcoholic roughneck who goes to prostitutes in every corner of the world and sort of has nothing to do with anything on shore. And it's weird that stereotype has been able to stay alive for like 70 years or something. And I think that makes a pretty good case for what you were saying about how bad the representation actually is. That there is close to no representation because nobody really has a view of what a seafarer looks like nowadays.
Yeah, because we're neither Popeye nor princesses. We're all just individuals. I mean, we don't wear like high heels.
No, I don't look like a pin-up doll.
No.
On the workplace.
No. But at the same time, like all males on board don't look the same. We're all just people. That's the important thing. People working at sea. That's it.
Yeah, well, I think it's also all these different symbols that we use. Why do we have to use an anchor? Isn't there anything else that we can use to symbolize our industry?
Surely, yeah.
Banana.
Yeah.
And it's also the old steering wheel with some brass. It doesn't really represent the industry either, because that is not what it looks like to be on the bridge.
No. But I mean, maybe the new Ectis isn't as
aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I think you're onto something there. It's very important because it says something about our brand as an industry. And I think it's very important to show that we are a modern industry and we include everyone who wants to come and work here. And there are different career paths that you can go on. I mean, you can either become someone working on shore or in a port, or you can do something like that, or you can sail around the globe. It differs, but it's not one size fits all or one thing fits all. So I think that is important. And it's also part of why I do what I do. I want us to talk about it because every conversation matters, also on this one.
Yeah, it's nice to see that there are people out there trying to show the world that, hey, there's women out there working, but I would like them to show it in the way that it's not dressing us up as pin-up dolls. Like, can I just look normal?
Yeah. If you just get some working clothes that fits you. Because that was I understand that was a problem when women started to go.
That's still a problem.
So, I mean, that is more important than trying to dress you up like something you're not.
Yeah, but that is now I can only speak for the company I work for, but it was something I said prior I went into the position I got, and they really stepped up and made sure I had everything I needed, and it was all right sizes. But it really comes down to also the woman clothes. Like, the company can order sizes, but they're not quite there yet with actually. A lot of sizes is still unisex, but it's coming. It's a lot better. So I do speak up for that. It's actually have gotten a lot better, but I know it's terrible, still terrible.
Oh, it makes me so sad that you say that it's still terrible, because I thought maybe we had done something to change the culture.
Small steps,
but it's still like,
baby steps.
It's still like with makeup now I'm gonna bring it, but with the shades of foundation, that there are still companies that don't have wide enough shade range, and that's the same issue with work clothes for women, that they don't produce products that has that wide range of fitting and sizing. They still go with the unisex. They have introduced smaller sizes, but it's still very straight. I have a jacket that I quite can't close with my hips, but it's a lot better than it was before.
Okay, so you're not swimming in a very big
No, before
jacket.
I couldn't walk in my working shoes because it was just 45 and I'm 37. Like, come on. But
yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, I also told them if they expect me to do some firefighting, it's gonna be really bad. You don't want it's not gonna be pretty.
Okay, anything else?
Like we mentioned earlier, we're in a time of a lot of change, both technologically and culturally on board, with regards to equality and all sorts of things. So I'm just happy to be a part of it and see the changes that are to come. And I hope we can also be a part of these changes. So I really look forward to getting out there and see what part of the change we can be.
Yeah, it's a fantastic industry. It's not perfect. It's not even close to perfect in regards to a lot of different things. But we're the ones making it perfect. We have to be out there and try to change things. So that's our job. And it's every generation's job, I think, to make it better for the next one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do my best, so at the end of maybe 3 years I can have this little like candy bag and with all of the new exciting ships to work on, and I can just pick one.
I wish you all the best for the future. Thank you very much. Thank you for participating in this small conversation about what it's like to be a student at the Maritime University.
Thank you for having us.
Every conversation matters.
Thank you, Gianna, Alva and Max, for your open and candid replies to my questions. Did you hear the future leaders' call for a better description of the work on a ship? I did. Anyone recognizing that they mention over and over again that nobody knows what it's all about. So they have to do a lot of explaining to friends. I am convinced that if we just pull together, we can help the next generation to create a board of messages on this topic. If we just help them with that, they will carry us. All they want is the rest of the world to understand what they have decided to do for a living. If you want to collaborate, you know where to find me. Every conversation matters. Let's keep on talking. Until the next time, from me to you, over and out. Thank you for listening to the Shipping Podcast. Don't forget to tell everyone that you meet that there is a shipping podcast available and that they should download it and listen to the maritime professionals who are sharing their passion for the shipping industry.